So it's the first morning I've been able to do my 6 a.m. class outside, but I had one jacket on and I had my down coat on because it's a little chilly at that time. But right now it's warming up and I'm still in the shade of this beautiful pine tree that's behind me. So I'm feeling quite comfortable, but I was able to take off my other shirt. So let's go ahead and sit back into your chair. And for most of us, it's going to free our feet, right? Because most of us don't have maybe that range to be able to place our feet flat on the ground. Place your back against the chair. Extend your hands out. And let's just go ahead and let our legs be free, okay? So maybe doing these outward and inward little movements, and we don't have any flexed or pointed or anything like that. We're just letting our legs open up and close, kind of this scissor fashion here. And then we're going to just take them and let them come up and down. And again, while we're doing this, press your entire spine into the back of that chair, right? That's shoulders, that's mid spine, that's that lower back. Let it know the chair is there, okay? Let the chair know your spine is there. And then let's lift up those feet and let's start in some circles there with our ankles. I don't know if any of you are hearing that little snap and crackle and pop in my right ankle, but it's doing that because it's saying, I need this. I need to get rid of that stagnant energy. I need to stay fluid in my joints, and movement will keep us that way. But conscious movement, right? So be very conscious of your shoulder today, Adrian. And then go ahead and Demi Point. When I say Demi Point, that means pull the toes back, push out on the ball of your foot. Okay, so we're not pointing necessarily. We'll get there. Demi pointing, it just works a different group of muscles there. And then pull those feet back and press out through your heels without hyperextending in the knees. Okay, so bring in energy into your kneecap area, all those muscles tightening up there just to protect and make sure we don't hyperextend. Okay, and now let's go ahead into that full point. And here you're going to feel the top part of your ankles releasing, right? And I'm still pressing back into that chair. And I'm doing it with consciousness, right? I'm not slouching in that chair, I'm really utilizing it to help my spine be nice and straight. Depending on your chair, yours might be straight, completely perpendicular to the ground, or maybe have a little bit of an angle like I do. And then let's go ahead and let's squeeze in the toes, let them go. Squeeze in the toes and let them go. Squeeze. And so we're kind of like blinking. Take your hands and do that too. I just happen to be doing that, and might as well add that too. Just a little coordinating between our toes, hands, our feet, our fingers. And let's go ahead and relax those feet down. And let's just take that back of the chair. I'm going to extend my arms long, and like you're scratching your back, like a bear against a tree. Okay. And maybe that is, actually it is, it's getting into one of my places that I always say, oh, can you scratch back there, please? Or I get the scratcher out because I can't quite reach it. It's in that inside left part of my shoulder blade. As I do, let's take it a little bit farther, okay? So that we're working, even though I know we have our spine pressed up against the back of the chair, we're still taking ourselves back and forth with our oblique muscles, okay? So we are still working. Never fear. Few more, just finding that friction of our hands, pressing it down into our thighs. And then coming back up, still pressing my back, and maybe getting that lumbar spine to press back in too. Because if it's just the mid spine and the shoulders, then we're going to have kind of a lumbar spine arc. And we don't want that right now. We'll take it later. Bring it on in, and maybe thinking about just bringing your navel straight back will help. And from here, take your arms out, okay? Still leaning up on the back of that chair. And let's go ahead, come on over. Bring it center, slide. So we do this often, and we'll do it without our back up against the chair. But I just want you to kind of get that feeling of straight spine and using your muscles to press back into the chair, okay? Through shoulders, thoracic spine, lumbar spine. One more time each side. Good. And then taking hands down. And then let's go ahead, still keeping our hips at the base of the chair and sitting up a little bit straighter. And here is where maybe some of you want blocks under your feet, or if you're okay and you don't have any pinching going underneath your thigh, then you can just stay like this. Or you can take, this is what I do sometimes, like during our meditation today, I did this, just my feet weren't reaching the floor. I just took my ball of my foot onto the ground, my heel onto the chair, okay? So right now, perpendicular spine, okay? Legs are either knees about hips distance or a little farther, depending on where your feet are landing. Now let's go ahead and do a few cat and cows where we will work into all the areas of the spine, including that lumbar spine, okay? Bring yourself forward, pull, all right, with your hands on your knees. Make muscles here. Bring those elbows back towards your hips. Let the bridge of your nose come upward. Your gaze is up. And let's hold this a bit here. So you've got that lumbar spine being released. You are pulling with your biceps. We're multitasking here. We're getting a little bit of stretch in the chin and then opening in the back of that neck. And then take yourself into straight spine and maybe adjust your hands in a little different way so that you can have that leverage to really now push that lower spine, the lumbar spine, into the chair. And your mid spine and your shoulders are away from it. Let your heavy head hang. Feel that, kind of congested breath there as our chin reaches closer to our chest. And then bringing myself back up. And now we're going to flow with that. So that will be with our breath. So bring myself forward in. Take myself back, press into the back of that chair with my lower spine and let my chin come to my chest. And take it with your breath. Trying to take that breath in and out through your nose, but breathing nonetheless, okay? Following breath and movement. Finding that dance, that romance between breath and movement. 2 more sets here. Good. And then go ahead, sit up straight and tall, taking those feet back in so that they are knees, everything at hips distance. Maybe that means I need to move a little bit forward on the chair so that my feet can also reach the earth, reach the ground, and find their neutrality, find their balance there. And from here, let's slide down our shins, straight spine though, okay? So we're not gonna collapse right now. We will in a bit, but let's take our chest forward. Tailbone pushes back into the back part of that chair. It doesn't push back into it, but towards it, okay? And I look forward, and then I bring myself up. Inhale. Exhale, slide down. Straight spine still, okay? So that keeping that spine straight may mean I just come a little bit, all right? Only go to where it feels like I can maintain that straight spine. And I'm using breath. So for me, I exhale here. I inhale up. Exhale down. Wow, that looks great. looks great. And you should know that you're hearing your breath working for you here. I can't hear you guys breathing, so you got to depend on yourself for that. Let's do 2 more slides. Straight spine, exhale. Taking it up when I inhale. And this time I'm going to release my hands, slide them down, keep that straight spine as long as I can. Then let my chest come onto my thighs. Feel my shoulders opening. Let my heavy head really hang. Now, if you're prone to any dizziness, thing like that, you might want to keep your head higher than your heart. Okay? But letting things go as much as you can. And then taking your hands onto a surface, make your back straight again and slide yourself up. Good. All right. So here we're going to start into some arm work. So again, Adrian and anyone else, just always be conscious of what your body's telling you feels right to do. Okay. We don't ever want to like lock up and not move. But we also want to find that range of movement and motion that is healing, okay? Not hurting, but healing. Let's reverse. 2 more, please. Arms rise up, inhale. Hold on to one of my wrists. Take myself over. You guys can't see me when I have my hands all the way up, but I think you know from just my description what I'm doing here. And open up, bring myself up, releasing opposite hand to opposite wrist, lengthen, bring myself over. Bring myself up. Take my arms out to the side here and go ahead and take some circles with my wrists. Good. And take your arms on up, inhale. Exhale, let's take them down. Right arm under left or whichever one, just make your X here. X marks the spot. Hold it there. Take one foot in, take the other knee over, okay? And then if you want, come into that hugging of yourself. If you want, just keeping foot here or anywhere you're able to take it, or maybe you take and you hug it in between and behind your calf there. If you can, want or need, you can come into hands, arms, forearms, perpendicular to the ground, into eagle arms here. And let's take 2 circles going in one direction. Feel that coming out from your waist, okay? And then take them in the opposite way. Good. And then take them way up. Exhale, bend and lower to bowing eagle. Elbows to your knees. One elbow to one knee. Lift up, inhale. As we gaze up, exhale, bringing it on down. So Adrian and everybody, really, just to keep your lower spine nicely feeling good. Let's make sure that when you bend over at any time during your practice, you pull in at your navel point, okay? And you're just adding a little more core strengthening by doing that. And the core strengthening is going to keep that lower back nice. One more time here. Nice and strong and less painful. And let's go ahead and release those hands. Yeah. Release your legs. Double yay. Up, high. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And releasing hands down. Now I'm taking left under right. I make my X. I'm taking the opposite leg over, so that's my left one. Finding a good position here, deciding where I want this leg to be. Okay, all those different options. Taking my hands to my shoulders to begin with, and just kind of working ourselves into this full expression of eagle. If you want, you can take and try to find your hands, holding on to them. You feel that opening in your shoulders, right? So on these, again, Adrian, you may want to be here, okay? You may want to take it even lower. Find where that works for you. This is a good shoulder opening for people that have healthy shoulders. It's a good shoulder opening for you to do to, let's reverse, to begin to find that edge for you that's going to be right. But again, please, please, please listen to your body. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl, tuck, round, pulling at your navel, and keep that core strong as you lower down. Inhale up and exhale down. Let your heavy head go when you bow down. 2 more, please. Rising up here. Exhale, releasing out of that. Come up to fingers down. Release your legs. So my fingers are down, right? Pointed down, and just giving a little bit of a different effect on the wrist. And then I'm going to push out through the palm of my hand. So my fingers are up right here. And I'm going to just take a few little pulses. Pulse here, open up the fingers wide if you want to feel a little bit more in your arms here, helping us to stay a little away from the chicken arms that we tend to get as gravity continues to work. Sometimes not for us. Go ahead and take the fingers down and open up that top side of your wrist, and like you're pressing down into something here. You should be feeling this in your arms, forearms, wrists, and into your biceps and your triceps. Good. Let's let our arms come down and take yourself onto the sides of your chair, onto the legs of your chair. And we're going to take one arm down, let the other one come up and really open up here. We did a little bit already when we grabbed onto that opposite wrist, but here we might find ourselves being able to come a little bit lower because we've got that connection to something on the other hand, down below on that seat leg. Bring ourselves up. Take this hand down. Hold on, bring the other one up. Really lengthen with an in-breath. Take yourself down and take a few breaths and notice how now we can have gravity work for us. We have our breath work for us. Open up a bit with my shoulder, my upper shoulder, maybe pulling back, but again, depends on the mobility in our shoulders. Bring myself up. And when I do, I'm pressing into that lower leg of the chair. And that just gives me a little more support. So I'm going to do that again. We're going to hold it. Okay, so lengthening up. Big in breath. Take it on over. Still trying to maintain as much weight in both of my sits bones as I can, right? The one's going to want to lift up a little bit as I keep coming over, but keep pressing down there into both feet, into both sits bones. And bring yourself up, inhale. Exhale. Nice. One more time, this side, really lengthening out. That side body should feel really, really good. And bring yourself over. And again, Adrian, maybe your arm is lower, or you've got your hand on your waist, okay, or you have it in here in your cactus arm. Okay, those are really good options for you. Come on up. Exhale, that hand comes down. Take your hands behind you. And again, see where this is for all of you on your shoulders, okay? So I'm interlacing my fingers right there. And notice what thumb's on top, because we're going to switch that out. So where you're going to do here, those that feel they can pull their shoulders back, please do. Those that feel they can stretch their arms out straighter, and that pops your chest out more and it pulls the shoulders together more, please do. Otherwise, keep your hands right at the base of your tailbone or on your hips, okay? And then from here, we're just going to look up, and then we're going to exhale. Take ourselves and curl and tuck and round a little bit into chin to chest. Let your head come down. Come up, find yourself exalting here. Heart releasing upward. Sides of your mouth releasing upward. And then take yourself chin to chest. Curl in just a little bit here. And then bring yourself up. Release those arms, release those shoulders. And let's sit for a couple breaths here. Transitioning in our mountain pose here. Then we're going to start working with that second chair. So if you have that second chair available, we're going to be utilizing it to do some extensions on that leg. So as you can see, I've got the chair next to me, all right? And I'm going to take myself in a position where I can take one leg out and extend it out onto that chair. Okay, so one knee is towards you and the other one is pointing away from me. So I'm starting to extend back through here. And again, no pressing down into that knee for hyperextension. And if you have a really bent knee, that's okay, because that just means you really have a lot of muscle mass here, or maybe in your calf, and that's keeping you from having that length and that flexibility. And that's why you're here. One of the concepts for yoga is about stretching and flexibility. It's so much deeper than that, but that is one of the aspects. So again, I've got a long leg and I have a bent knee. And I'm gonna go ahead and take this arm up, the other arm, slide it down as far as I can along the shin bone, and let myself open up here, radiating, and bring myself into cactus arms. Maybe staying in cactus arms, and then letting my hand come up, shoot up, bicep by my ear now, instead of fingers straight up. Take it on back, looking maybe as I pull into cactus arms. Take it on across. So we are kind of just in a little different configuration, doing a triangle pose. Because when we stand in triangle pose, we have our legs straight. So you can extend that other leg if you want, but we are reaching over and making these different shapes with our body. Let's do one more pull down and bring it over. And then slowly sliding back up here, taking my hand onto my knee, and I'm going to take a twist here, looking towards that foot first, and maybe that's all the farther I go, or maybe taking that twist so that I look towards the back of my chair. Slowly taking it back with a nice long spine, and slow, slow, slow. And then I'm going to take my twist in the opposite way. So I'm pressing my hand behind me on the seat of the chair, crossing my hand to that bent knee. Not going to go very far in this twist, but I'm just going to start to take it over in that direction. Keeping my knee coming forward, because it's going to want to pull outward here. And then bringing myself back, taking myself here and going, extending that leg out now. Okay, so I'm on my heel of that front foot, and I'm going to take myself and slide down just a bit here, extending myself long there. Other arm can come up, or keep it at your waist, or keep it in your cactus arm, fingers pointing straight up. Let your heart just release and open from that center out. And then slide back up. Slide down the other leg. Lift up. Come back. Slide down. Lift up. And one more time each side. Slide down. Lift up. Down. One more slide. Bring myself up. Take myself down. Actually, take myself back up. All right, let's go ahead and bend into that knee that was extended. Take the other foot off of the chair. Before we go to the other side, just take a slight bend in your knees. Go back on your feet, you're on your heels, and we're just going to windshield wiper. Okay. I just want to get used to this. I'll be throwing this in a lot more often, just because it's important again for us to get that internal and that external rotation on our hips, so that's not always just hips open. And then from here, step holes into the rock. We're going to do our little bit of the Charleston move, right? So knees together, cross. Let's see, how's that go? Let's see, this way. That way? Charleston. Anyways, find yourself crossing your hands opposite. A little bit of coordination here. Opening up, bringing the knees inward then. Okay, so we have external, internal. All right, and I'm crossing my hands and I'm coordinating my movements. I think I finally got it here. See what you guys are doing or feeling or thinking about this. Sitting up straight and tall and breathing. And coming to stillness. All right, we're going to switch to the other side. I'm just going to switch my chairs around a bit and scoot over, take that other chair like that. So see what works for you, but whatever it is, take your time, find out that connection for you, okay? And then we'll have the one knee forward towards me, and then holding on to that chair and lifting that other leg up and just finding where my extension is for this hamstring, for your calf. And again, if you need that knee really bent, take it really bent, all right? Because you can do everything we just did with a really bent knee, okay? So having it extended or bent, finding that length that you can find. And then taking and sliding that hand down, bringing the other one up, fingers reaching towards the sky. Maybe looking up. And then bringing myself back. And then I'm going to come on back. And this time, fingers rise up and I take myself over a bit more here. Bicep on my ear. Taking the neck and moving it however that feels right. And taking myself up. And then let's flow with this. Exhale down. Inhale up. And if it feels good for you guys to just maintain that bent over and you'd rather do that than the flow, please take what feels good for you. Really lengthen though when you get back to that center so that you can keep the length and the depth when you come over, okay? I'm gonna do 2 more here. And then bringing myself up, taking that arm down. And finding that length in that front leg too. So I'm just pushing into my heel to keep that leg strong and long, but again, not pressing deep into the knee. So hold your muscles strongly around that kneecap as you're holding them into this kneecap as well, okay? And then just find some time to come down onto your shin there, and then come back up, slide down this shin. Maybe take your arm up or leave it down, okay? And just work for that lateral movement rather than, you know, having to work into the shoulders. But this is slow, okay? So I stretch down and then I rise up. Take it down and rise up. And let's do 1 more set. Come over, fingers up, or you can have them here, where you guys have chosen to take your hands, arms, or they stay right down onto maybe your hips. And then coming up into a straight position here. Go ahead and bend back into that knee and take now both feet up. So I'm going to have to adjust here and take my chair so they face one another. Sitting down and finding the distance between the 2 chairs where I can take both feet up. And I'm not going to extend both legs long yet. All right. I want to have knees bent, soles of the feet together. I look down and I've created a diamond, and that's called Tarasana. And so I am not leaning back in the chair right now. Okay. I am sitting up. I am using core strength to do this. Using this core strength is going to assist us in that lower back, so we have less tension there, less pain. So sitting up straight and tall, let's slide down those shins again with a straight spine, okay? So straight spine, tailbone, pushing back down towards the back of the chair, crown of the head, reaching forward, bring myself back up to this straight spine. Exhale down. Your hands will reach to wherever your opening is. And you should feel this in your hips as well. And I'm breathing. I'm exhaling. I'm inhaling. 2 more, please. Keeping that straight spine, trying not to round. I have to remind myself. And now I'm going to take myself down and I'm going to let myself round. Bend into my elbows, let my shoulders come forward. Let my chin come to my chest. Let my navel pull in so that I am keeping a strong back, lower spine here. And then I reach with my head forward. I lift my body up. Good. And now let's see if we're able to lengthen those legs and bring the knees together, like zipping up the 2 legs as one almost. Okay, you can still have some separation there, but we're keeping them as long as we can. And again, maybe for some of us, we have still quite a bend because of this backside of our thighs. And that's all right, because that's again why we're doing this. But do you see the work that your core is needing to do here to maintain that straight spine? This is very inviting, isn't it, to come back there. So we're going to slowly come back just into a little angle, not very far, until you feel that you are working here, but not overtaxing your spine. Okay, there's that tell me body what is right for me moment here. And then bring yourself up. Take yourself back just a little bit, engaging here, feeling that, okay? Bringing yourself forward, maybe taking your fingers into that lower belly so that you can feel that, all right? And just take it where it feels right for you. Take it at the speed that you want to go. I suggest at least with your breath. So having the fingers here just will tell you, yeah, I am getting into those deeper muscles, and kind of move your fingers around so that you can just feel where all those muscles are so broad, and there's so many that when we do this, we're feeling it. Okay. Poke around a bit on your own body. Okay. And then lifting up, coming into this Dandasana staff pose here. I'm gonna go ahead, let myself come forward, straight spine, all right? Like we did earlier, only we had it in that Tarasana, diamond shape. And now let's go ahead and snaky-like take our chin to our chest. Let ourselves come back into that kind of an incline and bring myself up and exhale. Yeah. So you're just kind of doing a little bit of like snake motion here, or it could be kind of a cat and cow, if you want to call it that. Could be kind of like a king pigeon, proud pigeon, all these animal names for all of this movement that is getting our spine to work all the way up into our cervical spine. It's getting our core working here. We're multitasking into the legs as we lengthen them forward here. And breathing, we're having ourselves match, dance with breath and movement. 2 more cycles here. And then coming back up. We're going to keep one leg extended long. We're going to maybe need to adjust yourself a bit. We're going to bend the other knee so that the foot comes into the calf, okay? Just into the calf. Maybe you're down towards the ankle. We want that hip to start opening on the other side, okay? So I've got my right leg happens to be straight. My left knee's bent and out. So I've got that external rotation, and my side of my foot, my sole of my foot slides up to wherever feels right for me, okay? And I'm just going to sit up here nice and straight and tall. And then I'm going to go into a twist. So I've got one knee bent, one leg straight, going to pull over on the ankle of the bent knee, hand on the bent knee, and just let that be my leverage to take myself into a twist. Feel that in your belly area, in your lower spine as well. Slowly coming out of that with a long spine. You don't want to slouch into that. Then I'm taking my right hand, my extended legs hand, down behind me. And I'm going to still hold on to my ankle of the bent leg. And I'm going to take a twist, looking over that shoulder, coming around here. Press down, and that's really helping me maintain that long spine. And then bringing myself back and forward and taking and releasing that leg long And before I go into bending the other, bend into your knees a little bit, and we can windshield wiper our legs up here as well. So I'm on my heels and my knees are just going left and right. If my knees are going left and right, then my hips are internally and externally rotating here as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and come back into trying to find a straight spine. And now my left leg is going to be long. My right leg is going to bend. I'm going to sit up straight and tall, maybe hold on to that ankle to help me with my height here. I'm going to feel that opening in the side of my hip and into my knee. And I'm just sitting up as straight and tall as I can here, pressing through the heel of that extended leg. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and begin into that twist that we did earlier. And so I'm going to take my left hand to my right knee. My right hand comes behind me, and I'm going to go ahead and turn and twist. Bringing myself slowly back with a straight spine. Hold on to my ankle. Other hand comes behind me, push down, and take a look over. And then bringing myself forward here and starting to just take a little bit of bowing forward with a straight spine. Bringing myself back up in now. Bowing forward. Coming back. 2 more times. Good. And now we're going to come into as much of a butterfly as you're comfortable bringing yourself into. So I'm going to adjust. And so I'm moving myself a little bit closer, heels closer in to my groin area. I'm pressing down into the chair to help my legs expand and open a little bit more into the hips. I'm keeping my back straight because I'm pressing down into my chair. I happen to have these little cool handles on the side of my chair, so they're perfect for keeping my spine really straight here as I help to open up my legs. And then I'm going to slowly bring those legs back together. Curl tuck round, trying to bring my forehead closer to my knees here. Sit up with straight spine, open up into this really big butterfly position here. And then flutter my wings back together. Curl tuck and round into myself. Straight spine, open up. Let's do that one more time. Push down into your chair. Open up through your hips. Bring them up. Squeeze them together and curl and tuck and round into yourself. Straight up. And let's go ahead and let those feet come down. Take that chair. We're still going to use it. Out a little bit. Let your seat come back, come back into your chair. And we're going to find our hands or forearms and place our forehead on our wrists, forearms, hands, trying to maintain a long spine here. Hips are open, and I found myself in a resting, peaceful warrior, or a resting wide-legged child's pose. Taking a few breaths. This is a good one to come in and out of it any time. You feel the need, you have that second chair to rest on. We practice on the mat. It's one of our restorative poses, one of our resting poses. And then push into your hands. Lift your back straight. Push into the hands a little bit more. And let's open up through our throat And then bend into your elbows. Let your head come towards the other chair seat. Head comes down. Press into your hands like you're doing a push-up. Lengthen up here. Exhale. Bend into elbows. Head comes towards that other chair. Press down. Lift up. Look. Come on down. 2 more times. Use your breath. Find your strength. You're doing some weight bearing, whether you feel it or not. By slowly lowering down, slowly pushing away here. And let yourself come back into that chair like we did earlier. Let your legs come up and just hang out there. Okay. Let your spine be really relaxed in the back of that chair. Let your legs be open or extended or long, whatever feels comfortable here. It's like you're on a chase lounge, right? And you can just relax back into the chair. Relax your legs into whatever position you like. Taking the distance of those chairs into anything that feels right for you. Let's just take a couple breaths here. And then let your hands, if you have them up, let them fall, maybe behind you here. If you have a chair that you can come behind, otherwise you've got them in front. And let those hang too. I'm just hanging out in my yoga class. And I'm going to take attention to my core again. I'm going to take attention to bringing that navel back in towards the spine. Even as I let my arms relax down, my shoulders pull back, maybe my gaze rises up. Pressing lumbar spine back into your chair. Feels free. And then I'm going to lift up, my arms lift up. I'm still with my shoulders back into the chair. Interlace, push away. Oh, let my arms lengthen, maybe looking up again. Again, working into this wherever the shoulders want. Maybe I'm really low with my hands interlaced. And then releasing and taking some circles with my wrists. Still hanging out here, legs and spine. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and take those feet down. Only coming to one chair. So choose your favorite chair, whatever that might be. And I'm going to turn this chair towards you guys. Do a few things here we haven't had a chance to do yet. Such as Goddess and such as Seaweed Asana. I think those will be good. We'll go into Goddess first, but before we do that, just make sure you've got your knees open, toes out, heels in, spine straight. So many cues here. Arms can be straight to begin with. And then we're going to just do a little shoulder roll first. Take one shoulder forward and twist back. Look behind you. This is one of my favorites that I just throw in throughout my day, just because it helps me to lengthen my spine. It helps me get into a twist. Helps me again through this whole region of my body. Helping into my core, stretching into my lower spine. One more time this side. Good. And then let's go ahead, arms rise up, inhale. Exhale, bring it on down into Cactus Arms, into Goddess view here. Press into your feet. If you want a little bit more excitement there, into your legs, okay? Pressing into the feet, inhale. Because if we were standing, and some of you might want to take this standing, you would be lengthening your legs when we lengthen our arms. Press with your feet into the ground, okay? So do that now, and you'll still get that strengthening of what Goddess is like when you stand. Okay, 2 more here. Good. And then let your hands come down for a moment. Let your knees come in so that we are bringing that internal rotation in so that it's just not that constant openness. Okay, we've had a lot of that today already. And maybe just taking a little bit of your own energy into your thighs. And then taking those knees back up, working into the muscles that it takes to keep the knees from caving in, because that's what they're going to want to naturally do. So we have to work these adductors here and abductors to keep things open in this space. So we're going to do our little Seaweed Asana. We're going to come up here. Lifting, lengthening, we're going to come into eagle arms, and if that's here for you, then that can be fine. We're going to come here, and then we start to move with whatever kind of creative movement we want. Maybe closing eyes and imagining when you've seen seaweed moving, right, and how it moves. Can we let our arms be pliable and flexible like that, and our neck, and maybe our shoulders, and working that even into our waists, feeling ourselves rocking back and forth on our sits bones, maybe taking it lower. You choose. And then coming up wherever you are, releasing arms, take them up. Lengthen side body, left under right. And do your whatever it might be. I love this because, so much of the rest of yoga is pretty cued into certain alignments. We always have variations and modifications, adaptations, accelerations, that whole spectrum. But this is nice because it's freestyle, right? And I know like Lydia loves to dance and do the freestyle dancing. I've seen. And so that's what we're doing here, really. And bring yourself back. Lift up. Release. And at the top, let your wrist touch. Bring it down, pull the wrists down, come up, fingers down, wrists up, like that, that praying mantis, right? That praying mantis pose that Kung Fu fighter used to do. Mantis. Yeah, let's do one more. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then let's bring those legs in, come to slide bent knees, come to heels. And one last time, let's go ahead and left and right here into our back and forth windshield wiper. And then coming into seated position. And let's take that seat with your core strength. So not coming back into the chair this time. But now realizing that even being back in the chair with consciousness, we can utilize the chair in that way too for some different strengthening. So find your feet into the earth, into the rocks as mine are, sitting up straight and tall. I love walking on rocks. It is actually very healthy. It helps with those points for reflexology. It helps me to have stronger feet when I dance. It helps me connect to the earth a lot more intimately. Just take a few breaths here. Hands to your heart center. Anjali Mudra. I honor the place in you where the universe dwells. I honor that place in each and every one of us where there is love and there is light, there is peace and there is joy. For when you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, we are one and we are connected. We are together, brothers and sisters. Namaste. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for trying some different things today.